It started because I was looking for that kind of sense of community that I didn't have in my hometown. So it was really helpful for me meeting other people in the industry and finding resources. I like the people I work with. I think they're all amazing engineers. I love working with people that really know what they're doing, and it inspires me to be like them. I think my biggest failure has been putting all my worth in my job. And then that really affected me physically and mentally at one point. I want to be able to go back to that exploration phase where I just enjoy things and not worry about, is this going to make me money?
Welcome back to Passion Project Pending, where I'm doing my best to document the chaos of entrepreneurship. After spending multiple years as a Silicon Valley software data engineer, I was laid off from my most recent role contracting for Apple and used the savings I had to give up my San Francisco apartment, move back home to northern Michigan to live with my parents, and spend all my newfound time trying to find a way to support myself as a solopreneur. I'm still figuring out what I want for a business and how to make money in the meantime, so I interview entrepreneurs to learn about their businesses and talk about my experiences to share the realities of entrepreneurship. I used to think it was this glamorous thing once you quote unquote make it, but it has looked a lot different for me. Thanks for tuning in, and I hope you enjoy the show. Alejandra Thomas is a software engineer and content creator. She currently lives in New York City and works as a developer advocate for a startup, as well as a part-time web developer for Mixed Change, an agency working with nonprofits. On top of this, she also creates coding content across Twitter, TikTok, and Instagram. I first discovered Ale while creating coding content on TikTok myself. She uses social media as a way to connect with the broader coding community, although she's been able to monetize it as well at this point. In this episode, we discuss her background and journey to working as a software developer, her origin story and relationship with her content creation, what she does in each of her roles and what she likes and dislikes about each of them, whether she would consider doing content creation full-time, what a typical day or week looks like for her, her experience with Twitch streaming, and what she sees for her future in tech and content creation. I started a new tradition recently where I ask each guest at the end a question to ask the next guest. And so that's what I'm going to start with. Last time I interviewed two girls, they each had a question. So I'm going to ask you those questions. So the first one is, what's the biggest failure that you've experienced that you've learned from or that has propelled you forward?
I think my biggest failure has been putting all my worth in my job. And then that really affected me physically and mentally at one point because I was used to having jobs where everything was perfect. So I like associated my job and my success professionally with how cool I was or how amazing I was. And then I had one job where everything sucked. So that really brought me down. I think my biggest failure was that it was months where I was depressed. I got like anxiety and I never felt that before. So I had to completely start over from that and seeing my job differently. I think that was my biggest failure because I was out of it for months. It was hard. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I definitely have experienced something similar. Yeah, it's hard to think about your identity outside of work sometimes
Hmm.
when you're really proud of like where you got yourself or whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, thank you for sharing that. Second question. Knowing everything that you know now, is there anything that you would have done differently when you first started out? And that could be in whatever capacity you want it to be.
Anything in life?
Yeah.
I would not take things too seriously, I think, you know, everything in regards to personal life and relationships and then even friendships. I used to be I was very easy, it was very easy for me to be resentful, even at work and things like that. So I would probably chill.
Yeah.
It's not that serious.
Yeah. Yeah, and things get a lot easier. You have a lot more energy for your life when you let the little things go, I think.
Yeah, agreed.
Yeah. Okay. Thanks for answering those questions. Now I'll get into the questions I have. So, could you please give me and listeners, I know a bit, but listeners, a brief background synopsis of yourself from childhood, upbringing, career experience to now, where you are today?
Okay. Hi, my name is Ale, short for Alejandra. I'm from Mexico. I was born and raised in Mexico, and I had a really nice childhood. I have a younger brother. It's He's 8 years younger than me, actually. So I was an only child for 8 years. I have always been I've always considered myself a very like the I would say that I've had trouble before defining whether I'm more creative than practical because I like both areas. I've always liked math and I've always liked art and things like that. So growing up, I've always been a person that likes to try a lot of things to find what I'm really good at or what's the thing that I genuinely love. And so that meant that I did everything in when I was a child. I did art, I even did theater. I did everything. And then when I went to college, it was the same dilemma. I've always had that dilemma, right? I've always had the dilemma of what if I'm more than one thing. I've always felt that I'm can't be put in a box because I like doing a lot of things. So when I went to college, I had that same issue where I wanted to do something related to my hobbies because I had a lot. So I liked playing with computers, but I also liked learning languages. I went for business, then I went for engineering, and then I ended up doing another type of engineering after college. I've always been like that. I would describe myself as someone that it has the good sides and it has the bad sides. I think I'm very curious and very impulsive. When I get interested in something, I want to try it out, but then I tend to drop things. So when something shinier comes up, then I will follow that thing. Or so it's been harder for me to commit to something. And that's what I've been trying to learn more of and trying to put that into practice as I grow older after college, trying to kind of settle down and try to take one thing at a time. And I ended up so after college, I got a job in the States. That's how I moved to the States. I've been here this is my third year in New York City. And yeah, I'm the same as that. The same thing applies to where I want to live. I still don't know if I want to live here. Maybe. We'll see where life takes me.
Yeah, I relate to a lot of that for sure. Like
Yeah.
the technical, mathy,
Mhm.
and then like creative stuff. And I've always struggled with how am I going to really excel at either one of these if I'm constantly split between the two? And that always bothered
Yeah.
me. But like only focusing on one and ignoring the other interests kind of sucks too. So definitely can relate to that, as well as the where do I want to live. So, about like how you started in software engineering, what's kind of like your relationship with software engineering, your journey to starting that, and how do you pick like which type or
Mm.
area to go down? Because I feel like for me, like I found myself in data engineering because opportunities arose. I never really felt like I chose it, but I
Mm.
also felt like it was kind of hard to pick something before you were in it and knew what it was, like in industry. And obviously, there's different kinds, there's different like levels of experience. So, how did you navigate that?
I think that's usually the advice I give too, to just focus on something at the beginning because you'll have time, right? You'll have time to figure it out if you like it, if you like something else. That's the way I go. But the way I started, so I had a programming class in high school and they taught us Java. So for me, back in Mexico, where I loved computers, but to play games or to play with it, I remember that if I had no internet, for example, on my computer, I would do things with PowerPoint, kind of create things but with the computer. So I didn't really know what programming was until that class, and it was just Java. So I was like, okay, this exists and it's really fun, and I was good at it in my classes because I had two classes. And but that was the amount of stuff I knew. That was the limit. I didn't know that there was anything beyond that. So when I would program for fun, I would use Java because I thought that was everything. And then I graduate high school and I think programming is just a hobby. It can't be a job. That's what I thought. and I go into engineering. No, I go into business first, then I switched to engineering because I didn't like business. And in engineering, my school didn't have computer science, so I had to do an industrial systems engineering, but I did have some programming courses. And that's when I thought, oh, I made a mistake. I could have been a computer science student and I could have done this thing that I really like and that I really think I'm good at for work, actually. So I started just learning on my own, and I already knew Java. So I thought, why not? So I focused on Java. I started building like more complex stuff as I finished college. And then when I graduated, I just went looking for Java jobs. So that's how I guess I just got pushed to it because that's what was handed to me from high school. And I thought it was easy instead of starting over. But then when I was in my job as a Java software engineer, we had to do a lot of web scraping for the product that we were building. So I had to use a lot of front end technologies. And that's how I started using Angular and I started using React. So I was like, okay, this is really fun too. And that's how I started exploring more. And I was like, maybe I need to be a front end engineer instead. I was like, should I stick to back end or should I go front end? And then it just started growing like how little of everything I started learning. I thought then maybe I need to be a full stack engineer if I want to be like a generalist. And that's more where I've been angling to because I think that being a full stack engineer gives you a little bit more flexibility in you're always using different things. You're not stuck to doing back end or front end. So
Mm.
that's pretty much what happened with me. But I started straight with back end engineering and it was all like circumstance.
Yeah. Yeah. And so, like, just to clarify for honestly myself and listeners, Java, is that going to be like a Java software engineer? Is that going to be more of like a back end role? Whereas like Angular and React are like front end web framework vibes?
Yeah. So when I was doing Java strictly, it was just handling microservices, the infrastructure on the back. And then since we were doing scraping, that we had to, with our microservices, with the Java program, we had to navigate actually websites to download and parse the files that we needed to process. So we needed to implement something that could interact with a browser. So that's why I started learning. And these websites were built with Angular and React. So you have to use those two to navigate with it, or at least JavaScript. Yeah, to answer your question, yeah. React and Angular web technologies and Java backend usually.
Okay. So you work right now full stack, right?
So right now, so right now I do a little bit of everything.
Yeah.
Yeah, but my title is actually a web developer lead.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. And then you also have something on the side. Is it web design?
So it's no, so it's the whole thing, I think. So as a web dev lead, I do coding and I don't really do a lot of design because we have a designer, but I
Right.
do,
Okay.
yeah.
But you have this side part-time thing, right?
Oh, yeah, for nonprofits. Yeah.
Okay. And
Yeah,
what do
but
you do for them?
so I started 2 years ago after working, I would say, for like big corps.
Hmm.
I started getting, a little frustrated that everything I did was maybe, affect a button, affect a line of code, and that was my whole sprint. So I wanted to do a little bit more impact because I felt I felt like it took up all my time. Of course, I would finish my 9 to 5 and I obviously didn't want to have anything to do with the computer. I would want to go out. I would want to enjoy time away from the computer. But since I have a lot of passion and I really enjoy coding, it was like it felt like my time I was kind of wasting, because before I would code for fun and I would do fun things. So I that brought me to a point where I wanted to use my skills for good and I started searching for opportunities where I could do nonprofit work or something on the side. I was even open to doing just volunteering, just doing a cool project that would be a volunteer position. But I came across this agency that works for nonprofits. So they build web apps or GUI apps for nonprofits. And they were looking for a developer to work with them part-time, and it was paid. So that was really nice. And what I do with them, I started with them 2 years ago, and what I do with them is it's pretty much that. We will get, I will do about a project every month, more or less, sometimes more, it depends. And it's just supporting them with either maintaining a website or an application that they have that's old, or if they want to move it to a different domain, or if they want to redesign it, or just anything related to their websites and applications. And that's what I do for them.
Okay. Very cool. Okay. And the agency, is that called Idealist? Is that
No, Idealist is where I found it, but
okay?
the agency is called Mixed Change. Mixed Change is an agency for profit, and but we only serve nonprofit clients.
I see. Okay.
Yeah. And yeah, so mixed change will work, for example, I don't know what nonprofit can I name? Maybe because we work, for example, for advocates for Asian and Hawaiian communities, right? So we will do a project for them, but they do pay us. They do pay us for that work. It's just lower rates because they're nonprofits.
Okay. Gotcha.
Mhm.
Okay. Okay. So you definitely balance a lot, probably, doing both of those things. And then on top of that, you create content,
Mhm.
which is how I found you back when I created content as well. So I am curious if you could talk about what made you decide to start doing that. And yeah, what's your whole journey relationship with the content creation part of how you spend your time?
Okay. So how I started was back in that Java software engineering job that I had at the very beginning. And when they shifted me, actually, that was even before. So I was in that job and I had an industrial and systems engineering degree. So when I started that job, sometimes it was very confusing because I didn't have the foundation that my coworkers had.
Mm.
So, for example, we would meet up and we would have to do some system design, plan, or structure, and I would just not know the lingo, or I would just not know what everything meant. So, I was behind on my studies, I would say. So, that led me to continue studying as I was working in that first job. And since I was still in my hometown back then, and I was in my hometown and I didn't really know anyone because all my friends from college, we went for a different degree. They didn't really care about programming. So, I couldn't really talk to them. So I resorted to Twitter first, and I created an account where I was actually a little ashamed. I didn't want my family or my friends to find me. So that's why I started tweeting in English, even though I speak Spanish. So I was like, this way, no one's gonna find me. So I just started tweeting about programming and just my journey, learning and at work. And that really resonated with a lot of people. I started making a lot of friends on Twitter. And then that's when when I was in that job and that I had to learn front end, then I also started sharing that on Twitter. So I would share videos of what I was doing or little animations that I was learning to do or findings, tools that I was using. So that really started from there. And the first 10 months or almost a year, I only did Twitter because I was just, it was a community. It was like a forum for me to chat with other people. And then I would upload I would do blogs. I would do technical blog posts about what I was learning. And then I thought of doing them in video form. So I had never used TikTok before either. Like it was starting to get really big, right? And then I went on TikTok and that's the story. And then later on Instagram. But it started because I was looking for that kind of sense of community that I didn't have in my hometown. So it was really helpful for me, meeting other people in the industry and finding resources. At the end of the day, it was like also a great opportunity for me to network and also help other people that were in the same situation as I was. So that's how it started.
Yeah. Yeah, that's cool. Yeah, it was kind of similar for me. Like, I started on TikTok because I was like, this is kind of like embarrassing. Don't watch me. And none of my friends were on TikTok, or I like kind of
Hmm.
assumed that they weren't. And so, yeah, I downloaded TikTok to start posting.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, it was cool to see. It wasn't what I expected because I didn't go like looking for a community,
Mm.
but there were a lot of people who enjoyed the coding content that really
Hmm.
surprised me. Um,
Yeah.
yeah. And then like younger people as well, like asking questions about my experiences, which also came as a surprise and felt really good to be able to like, I don't know, maybe help them.
Yeah,
Yeah.
totally.
Yeah. Okay, so out of all the things that you manage, so you have your full-time job and the part-time thing
Hmm.
and content creation, what could you compare and contrast them? What do you enjoy about each of them and then like maybe not love so much in certain parts?
Yeah, sure. So I would say that I'll start with my full-time job. My full-time job, I like it because it's secure. I like it because it's secure. I think I don't enjoy some things, definitely. I like the people I work with. I really like that. I think they're all amazing engineers. So I really, if I need help, I know I can get help, right? And that they'll excel at it too. Like what they do is inspiring. Also, I think that I love that. I love working with people that really know what they're doing. And it inspires me to be like them. The work is also good. I would say the only thing I don't like, and maybe will come as a surprise, in contrast to everything else, I don't like to kind of be, so I work at a small company, right? And then I do a lot of like front facing stuff where like I am the face of the company. So I don't like that. I don't like that, I'm in every video that I'm in. Like, I know that makes no sense because I do content creation and I do videos, but I don't like it for my full-time job. I think looking at it from that, where it's like expected and it's something that that my success is measured by, then I don't enjoy it. It's like,
Mhm.
because I have to do videos and I have to do, all those things like public speaking. I don't enjoy that. And then my part-time job, I love everything, I think. I really don't have any complaints. I love also the people I work with. I love the causes that we support. I love the projects. They're always, they're for a good cause. And then on top of that, they're always very fun. They like to do a lot of, you never know what you're going to get. Sometimes it's really, oh, just move this WordPress site to a different, provider. Or maybe it's, I don't know, just fix typos, it can be anything. But usually, and very occasionally, you'll get projects where like animation is really cool. So you get to play around with new things. The designer is really good as well. So she always comes up with really cool stuff to implement. So that's always nice.
Just a quick break in the episode to talk about the secondhand shopper's best friend, which is called Benny. It is a Chrome extension you can add to your browser for free that suggests secondhand alternatives available on different resale sites to whatever item you are looking for. I have been using it for a couple months now, and it is incredible how accurate it has become in matching to the same items as what you're looking for. So if you're looking to shop more sustainably but don't always have the time to thrift or sift through everything available on Poshmark, eBay, Mercari, etc., then Benny is your new best friend. Just click my referral link in the episode show notes and happy shopping.
And then I really like that I get to work that part-time job at my schedule. So usually the way I work with them is they'll come up with a project for me and then they'll say, how many hours do you think this will take you? And like, when can you have it done? So it's like all async. So I just work on my time and I'll be like, okay, here's the structure of what I'm going to do, and here's how long it's going to take me. And then I just do it and just communicate whenever I need to. But other than that, I get to pretty much handle it all on my own. And so I really like that job. And then content, I think content is similar to my part-time job, as in that the way I see it, I don't like seeing it with pressure, you know? I started it for fun, and that's how I want to keep it. I think for me, it's also a creative outlet to, the fact that it makes money is a huge bonus. But I did content for like a year without making a single penny, and that was fine by me, It was fun. It's a hobby, and I don't have, I don't like looking at it under like, I'm gonna post every single day, or I have to make a video, or I have to get to 50,000, or I don't even worry about how much likes I get. For me, it's just interaction, and it's fun. It's like an outlet, and I like I really like it because I can do it whenever I want, and there's really no expectations, and it's just really nice.
Yeah. Yeah. Sometimes I feel like the best content comes from people who aren't like forcing it or like pushing
Hmm.
themselves to a certain like benchmark or something. Like they're
Yeah.
genuinely just doing it because they want to. And
Hmm.
I think that definitely comes across. But knowing like all the things you balance, like what does a typical week look like for you? Like how do you fit in all these things? Do you just like create content when you feel like it? Like in the
Yeah, usually unless I have partnerships. So if I have a partnership, then yeah, I do have to have a structure and add it to my to-do list. Otherwise, it depends on how I'm feeling during the day. So for example, a day for me, my it's work, right? So the hours that I do have to work are early in the morning. So I start very early in the morning. That gives you the illusion that you have more time, right? So it's like I start very early in the morning because my team is in Europe. So to meet, like all my meetings are from 8 to 10 or 7 to 10 sometimes. So I do the meetings, and by 10 I'm usually done with meetings. Then I can do some focused work, and usually I will do focused work from 10 to like 3, and that's it. So my full-time work ends at 3. Then I usually go to the gym, or work out, eat, everything, come back. And if I have a project for the nonprofits, I will usually do an hour or two. I'll do an hour or two, but not every day. That's the thing. That's also something I like, that let's say that this is a day that I did do that. So I do 2 hours or 1 hour for nonprofit work. And then I don't know, it can be 7. And I'm like, should I do something? If I still have energy, then I will occasionally like scroll and see if there's a trend. This is usually when like my day is swamped, then I will do just a trend where it's like a video that's just less than 10 seconds, just to show people I'm alive, I'm here. And then I'll do a trend and just something funny. And that usually takes me like an hour because it's just a 10-second video. But if I want to post something specific, or I want to do something more, what's the word? More produce, like more production, then I will usually do content in the weekends. So I will do either Saturday or Sunday. I will think about, write down what I want to create and then just record it. And on the weekends, I don't usually do any other work except content if I have to.
Okay. Okay. Yeah. Okay. Well, that sounds doable. Things you
Yeah.
like. Like, yeah. Okay, that's cool. Yeah. So with content creation, yeah, like how is that going for you? You do partnerships. What kind of companies or products or brands will you typically partner with? And yeah, would you ever consider doing that full time? And if so, why or why not?
I don't think I would ever do it full time because I think it would change the way I see it. I think for me, it would be like, then I think a switch would happen where I'm like, yeah, I need to post today and tomorrow and every single day. And I need to post a story. I need to post a tweet. And right now it's so relaxed that I love that. I also don't set goals for myself as in like, oh, I want to make X amount every month. I think that I did for a little bit was like, if I could make enough for rent every month, then that's good because I am putting hours into it. I also think that as much as it is fun, I'm also putting hours into it. And yeah, and I do like to be rewarded for that. So sometimes I do think as long as I get rent, and that's like plenty for me. But the companies that I usually work with, I usually only accept to work with companies that have products or offer services that I have used or that I would use or that I know that the people that follow me could use. I don't really also do affiliate marketing where it's like I put a link and then I get money if they buy something. I only do that for Amazon for my setup. I've done that. But I don't really do like a video where it's I'm gonna give you a discount and I'm gonna get $50 for every person that signs up. I don't really do that. I really like to recommend things that I believe in. So that's like my way of going about partnerships. And it's what's been working. It works really well. I think that also another thing that has worked for me in really establishing money from content is long-term partnerships. So I really try to excel when I get reached out to by a company, and then they usually come back. And then they'll come back with saying, "Oh, now we want a 6 month partnership, like a 3 month." So that's always good, you know. I may not do like partnerships every week or so, but a partnership with a brand for 6 months, and that is a really good deal usually.
Yeah, if you're able to make rent with that, that's so good. That's
I
amazing.
know.
That's phenomenal. Yeah, what a relief that must be. And I agree with what you said. I think it's amazing that you only do it when you're like really feeling it and you don't do it from this place of intense, let me reach these
Cashing out.
vibes.
Yeah.
Yeah. And that probably draws a lot of people because I feel like that energy is like perceived.
Mhm.
But like you said, it's still time out of your day.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, like, yeah, like maybe you enjoy like editing the video and like everything, but or like creating the video, but then you like have to edit it and do all these things. Like from experience, I know that can be tedious for sure. So
Yeah.
yeah. Okay. And like with all the different things, like I know you walk through a typical schedule or week. Do you ever find it to be like too much with, I don't know, like social life or things that fill you up? Or do you feel like you have a pretty good situation figured out now by now?
I actually think that I'm getting ready to step out of it. I think that I've been doing all these three things for the last 2 years. Another thing about content is that it also gives me some sort of security over what if I lose my job. If I lose
Yeah.
my job, at least I know that money will be coming because I'm doing this thing. So I think that I'm ready to let something go. I think I'm not I could leave my full-time job, which would leave me with content and my part-time job, which would still be plenty, or maybe find a full-time job that's just lighter and then switch my contributions to the nonprofit agency like lower to maybe just volunteering because I don't think I would like to leave that like on its in its entirety. Just like lower responsibilities in a full-time job would be really nice. And I think I'm ready for that. I think that I've been doing a lot for so long where I was like trying to build a foundation of getting savings and everything, and also helping my family. And now I think I'm in a position where I can relax and enjoy more of everything. I've done a lot of traveling too. It's not like it's people I think get this idea that I'm just like in my computer working all day, but I do try to work out. I try to socialize a lot, make friends and whatnot, spend time with my family and travel. But I think that sometimes it's just I really need to enjoy things a little bit more, rest. And I think I'm ready for that, to not feel that pressure of, oh, I was already doing three things, so I need to stay doing three things. I
Yeah.
think I think I'm ready for that moment to
Yeah.
let something go.
Yeah. I feel that. Well, I mean, that's amazing though that like you have worked so hard and like built a good foundation.
Hmm.
Like that's gotta feel like so good.
Yeah.
Just like knowing multiple things could go wrong, but I still got myself and can provide.
Hmm.
That's amazing. But yeah, I wonder like you're ready to step down, maybe create some more free time for yourself.
Yeah.
Even though like you are ready, do you find that like how do you think about that transition? Because you have been doing a lot for a long time, it sounds like. So like what do you see yourself like doing with the extra time? Like enjoying it. Mm.
Oh, I'm gonna fantasize. Yeah. Um, I want to definitely split my time more between here and Mexico, I think, definitely for starters. And I also want to do more hobbies. I think that I'm in my mid 20s and then all I do, my hobbies when I talk to people, all I am is a computer nerd. Because that's what the content I create for is also software engineering. And then I do software engineering on the side and then I do software engineering full time. I think that I want to explore other things. I want to go back to, I was telling you at the beginning, like I would do everything. I would do volleyball, I would do basketball, I would do jazz, I would do dancing, instruments, blah, blah, blah. And I want to be able to go back to that exploration phase where I just enjoy things and, not worry about, is this going to make me money, because I used to think that a lot about everything I did, about like, should I put time into this because it's not going to give me money? Well, I already have money. Now I want to just enjoy things, learn new things, indulge a little bit more in new new adventures and I think hobbies. I think that's what I want to do. I feel like the people that I admire the most, they're like really good at their craft, right? And they can make money out of it, but they also like that's not their whole identity.
Mhm.
They also have, I don't know, they're a great cook or I don't know, they can make clothes. They know how to make clothes or they crochet. I don't know. I want to have something like that. And I feel like I don't. So I feel like all I do is tied to a keyboard and it's great. The things I can create, I am really proud of, but I am still looking for, more things that I can do.
Yeah, totally. Yeah, that sounds nice. The hobbies for sure. And
Hmm.
not approaching everything like, how do I make money from this? I totally feel
Yeah.
like a much better feeling. But yeah, I'm curious. So you feel like more stable now, like you could do that and take a step back? How do you determine what is enough for you to do that? You're like, oh, I'm at this place where I feel comfortable, like financially
Hmm.
taking a step back. Is it that you'll just be able to take a step back and still cover any living expenses and travel costs and then also have that free time? Is that why like you feel comfortable taking a foot off the gas?
Yeah, I think so. I think after a few months, kind of settle down because last year I traveled a lot. So I didn't really have like a home base, right? So I was traveling a lot. I was in Mexico, I was in the States, I was, in Canada, I went to Asia, like I traveled a lot. And then I was in need of like having just a place. And then I got a place and I'm in my apartment and I now know like what my routine looks like. I know what my expenses look like, after 6 months. Like I know how much money I need and how much money I already get. So I am able to make that decision of what things are not necessary for me, like mandatory for me to have. Like I can actually let go of things to let others in. And I think that's the position I'm in right now. Like I
Yeah.
can see that I live very comfortably right now, but at the cost of being tied to my work and my computer. But I know and I've determined by now that if I'm not tied to it, I can still live comfortably. Like nothing is gonna, I feel like we have that fear, and I have that fear all the time of, oh my God, what am I gonna do without benefits? Or what am I gonna do? You know? But I've even like looked into that, and I think that, it's all gonna be okay. And I feel like that foundation that I built, and then the fact that I do have other sources of income can definitely help out. I think it's scary, but yeah, I think I've spent the last months figuring that out, that I can make things work.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, I
Hmm.
Yeah, I'm just always curious about how people view their finances and like stability and everything.
Yeah.
Okay, I do want to ask you about Twitch before we end because
Oh,
we haven't
right.
did so
Yeah.
what's your experience with Twitch, and yeah, how does that factor in to everything else? Like, what is that like give and take from your life, or maybe just give?
Yeah. So I started Twitch because I work from home and I've worked from home for the last 3 years. So I've never had that really like that office experience or anything. And then I started doing Twitch because I could live stream myself as I worked and then co-work with people. Like if they're also working, sorry, or if they're studying or something, join and then we do like productivity sessions where like we work for 40 minutes or 30 minutes and then we rest for a little bit and then we chat. So it's like a sense of community, but also you get your work done, you know? And it was, I started that and it's been really fun. It's like two birds, one stone because I'm doing my work. I'm actually doing my job, but I also get to interact with people that already follow me or that find me and that really want company. Twitch is the same as how I started with content. I don't really see it, I didn't really start because, oh, I want to get sponsorships there and I want to, make a lot of money. What I wanted to get out of this was that like consistency for myself too, to stay accountable because people are going to see me working and they're going to see if I'm on my phone or anything, right? Like it keeps you accountable. And then it's also like a way for me to chat with people, like
Mm.
as if they were my coworkers. And then the other thing is that the added bonus to that is that I get some money out of it just from viewership, and then it pretty much covers my coffees for the month. So that's awesome because I love getting my coffee outside. So it's great. I think that's been really fun. I really enjoy it. And the other thing that I was telling you when to do it, like you have that choice. You don't have to necessarily do it every day. There's like no one's keeping count, And that's the reality for like also content. Oh, I think a lot of people are like scared of that to start because of that, because they're thinking that everyone's keeping track of what you're doing and what you're posting or when you're posting, but nobody really does. Like life happens for everyone. And then when you show up, that's nice. But if you don't, then they probably won't notice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, every time I've had a relationship with content creation, and I'm currently working on it now for the podcast, I
Mm.
feel like I put these aggressive commitments on my own plate. No one
Yeah.
cares. And I'm just like, it's just too much. But it's just a good reminder. Like, literally, no one cares. It doesn't matter if you miss a day or a week or whatever.
Yeah, exactly.
And kind of that vibe of like, if I'm actively not having a good time, what is the point here? Like,
Yeah.
why is that a good thing? Yeah, it's hard to strike a balance. But I want to ask you if you have advice for aspiring software engineers before we wrap up.
I think I covered it with that same thing, to focus on something. It's very
Yeah.
easy to get overwhelmed, especially now, especially with like AI too, to kind of want to do everything and want to know everything. But I started a job, my first job, I knew Java and then Spring Boot, which is like a framework, and that was it. That was all I knew. And I had built a lot of projects, and then you learn on the go, right? As you go, you start learning all the tools that you need for that. I think that's my advice, to focus on something, become like really cover the fundamentals. I think that's a huge mistake that software engineers make, that they don't cover fundamentals. I made it. I don't recommend doing that. So cover the fundamentals and then you can explore. You also don't have to be married to a programming language very early on in your career or a tool. You can always change. And I think that's another thing, that we are very scared of thinking that it's going to get too late, but it's not. So I think that there's always like a lot of resources. There's also always a lot of tools for you to continue learning and continue like changing your path. That's my recommendation. Focus on one thing at the beginning.
Amazing. Thank you. Okay, and then what is a question you have for the next guest?
Mm, I didn't think of anything.
Whatever you want to ask them, it can be
Really? Can we just,
any level of depth. It doesn't have to be like the
they
question.
had They had really deep questions though.
I know, but that's okay. That's the beauty of it. It's
So
different.
can it be anything that like what show they're binging
Yeah.
on right now? Yeah, that's my question.
Okay,
I'm
great.
asking that because I'm binging Vampire Diaries.
Oh my gosh. I literally did that a year ago, first time.
Really?
So good.
I know, I'm in season three.
I think I broke off around season 4 or 5. Like I haven't seen that, but
Oh, really?
have you seen it all? Are you?
No, I never have. I'm
Oh, you
trying
watched it?
to. I'm gonna
Good.
try.
I was literally rewatching it, so that's yeah.
Oh, okay. So you did finish it once.
No, like I think I watched like season 1 through 3 or 4 in high
Mm,
school, and then
mm.
last year I just got on this kick where I was like, let's watch it again, and it wasn't getting old.
I
Eventually,
know.
yeah, yeah.
I know.
Uh,
That's what I'm binging right now.
Stefan or Damon, although it's probably determined by now.
Oh, oh, I know. I know the ending though. I know the ending, but I'm a Stefan girl.
Really? Yeah. Oh my gosh.
I really don't get why everybody loves Damon. He's so toxic.
Yeah, I know, but yeah, he really is when you think about it, wants to fix him and help him.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's so true. Maybe that speaks to your secure attachment style, but
Yeah. I also think that I would never, because I do have a brother, and I'm like, when Damon killed Jeremy, I'm like, how would you go from and move on from that and be like, yeah, I love you, I want to date you, you know? I think the
true.
Damon girlies need to
I think it says a
need
lot
help.
now
Yeah.
that I'm thinking about it.
Yeah.
That's a really good point.
Hmm. Yeah, but
Okay.
I love it. I
Yeah.
love it. I watch it when I'm eating lunch or when I'm, killing time. I
Yeah.
love it.
It's
It is.
but yeah, okay, those are like all the questions. But thank you so much for your time today, and it's really interesting hearing about your experiences. So, thank you.
Thank you for having me. I hope that I make sense with my answers and that they help you in some way.
Definitely, definitely helped me, and yeah, definitely gonna help listeners. So, thank you.
Of course.